Minasan konnichiwa und willkommen. And today I'm I'm doing another video for you guys. And it's actually another storytelling video. Today we're going to be doing a reading on The Little Prince, known in France as Le Petit Prince, while in Deutschland it's Die kleine Prinz. And we all know this story pretty well. And my take on The Little Prince is going to be a little bit different. But before I start, do you like this particular drawing? It's pretty much a rat-lizard hybrid, which was pretty much inspired by Max Fleischer and Akira Toriyama. Yep, Max Fleischer and Akira Toriyama. Yeah, it's pretty much a rat with some lizard-like features. Not really my best work, but I'm still learning how to draw muy perfecto. Anyway, let's start the video. Somewhere in the nicer part of New York City, where the Little Prince currently resides, which takes place after the events of the actual story. And he was listening to some Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin and painting some German and Japanese inspired art. And The Little Prince was actually singing That's Amore by Dean Martin, which would be, when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. When you walk in a dream, but you know you're not dreaming, signore. Scusa me, but you see, back in old Napoli, that's amore. In Napoli, where love is king, where boy meets girl, here's what they sing. But then, out of nowhere, a time machine actually appeared in his house. And the Little Prince was actually amazed and entranced by the time machine. El Maquino del Tiempo. Is this some sort of strange time-traveling device? This is really intriguing. So the Little Prince turned on the setting to 1776, which was during the Revolutionary War. So the Little Prince actually tried his best to try and fix history, en histoire. And the Little Prince introduced himself to one of our founding fathers, George Washington, portrayed by Paul Lynde. Exactly who are you? Me? I'm the Little Prince, known officially as Francois Dubois. Is that so? We're at a very losing streak here. No te preocupes, amigo. We'll try and face off the enemy while you sign the Declaration of Independence. which should be signed on the 4th of July, 1776. Are you sure about this? I'm sure. Now get a move on, amigo. There's not much time left. Whatever you say, dude. And they actually signed the Declaration of Independence that very day, on the 4th of July, 1776. Wow, this time-traveling device is really neat. Wonder if there's any settings to travel to ancient Japan. Oh wait, that would be ancient China. The period in Japan they're referring to as feudal Japan, back when Tokyo was known as Edo. So, Francois Dubois then time traveled to feudal Japan. And he was trying to help out some legendary Japanese soldiers like Yukimura Saneta and Nobunaga Oda, then Ishikawa Goemon, not to be confused with the ones from those Konami games years ago. Meanwhile, in the darkest sewers of New York City, there were a group of rats in biker gear were hatching up a scheme to try and change everything in New York by trying to invade Def Jam Records and make a lot of those famous rap stars their personal puppets, including Ice-T, Busta Rhymes, and Sticky Fingers. Yes, I am talking about Sticky Fingers, one of the most beloved rappers in New York City. You know, from Def Jam Records. Because those dirty little rats actually have a vendetta against all the famous rappers who had contracts to Def Jam Records. Rewind back to the 1920s, where Francois Dubois was actually jamming out to some jazz with such well-known people as Al Jolson. You know, from The Jazz Singer, which was the very first talkie to ever be released, dating all the way back to 1927. Which I think was the same year Paramount released their silent classic, Wings. And Francois Dubois was actually talking to some very well-known and very legendary silent movie stars like Clara Bow, Lillian Gish, Ramon Navarro, Francis X. Bushman, and Rudolph Valentino. Yep, the legendary Rudolph Valentino. Then Lon Chaney from The Phantom of the Opera and The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And then he somewhat traveled forward in time to 1939, where he was visiting the sets of The Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too. You should be kissed more often. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a ham. Is everything all right, Miss Scarlet? And yet, The Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind were both directed by Victor Fleming. And Francois Dubois was actually impressed with the sets that both of those MGM classics used. And then he traveled all the way back to to 1892, where Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky performed Le Casse-Noisette in one of those Russian theaters in St. Petersburg. Knowing that he actually performed at Carnegie Hall before that. Mr. Tchaikovsky, weren't you so, how do I put this lightly, so stressed? Oh, little comrade, I just don't know how to find the right music for whatever performance they had in mind. No te preocupes, amigo. By 1893, your Sixth Symphony should be made. Why, that's a great idea. Why didn't I think of that? Ah, spasiba, little buddy. It was no trouble at all, dude. Then he traveled all the way back to the 1780s, where Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was also having trouble with some music concepts. Oh, 9999! I can't find the right type of music to use for Le Nozze di Figaro. Amadeus, I have a feeling you're a bit stressed as well. Just like your future fan, Tchaikovsky, like decades from now. I don't know what to do. I'm stuck at this overture. Maybe you're doing it a bit wrong. The opening note is supposed to be da-na, 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 oh my God! Pure genius! Pure absolute genius! Ah, vielen Dank, meine Freunde! I'm gonna start working on that intro right now. Auf Wiedersehen! Well, this time traveling business is really starting to actually get me in a good feeling. Okay, that should be the end of part 1 of my storytelling for the story. Stay tuned for part 2 as I continue the story. And I'll be right back after these messages, so stay tuned. And don't touch that dial.